Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Project Infinite podcast, the podcast covering the ever-expanding and infinite multiverse of fandom, from movies, comics, TV shows, video games. We got you covered, and I have a question. How can a movie be subsequently short, but also too long?
If you're Dr. Michael Morbius, then that answers its own question.
We are going to answer that question and so many more on this episode of the Project Infinite podcast as we review Morbius. I'm here, as always, with Court.
The funniest movie of the year?
Look, it's a complicated film.
Yeah, but ever so simple.
At the same time. Oh, man.
This movie is a comedy. It's a comedy soap opera.
So we just saw it like 2 hours ago.
Right. These are the best reviews when we just see the movie and we just immediately race back.
Not overly excited to see it.
But boy, were our expectations. They weren't exceeded by any means, but boy, were they changed, I guess.
Yeah. So before that, we do have some news. And last week, Christopher Nolan let us down.
Yeah, he did.
He let us down. We didn't get any Oppenheimer casting news last week, but however, he made up for it because we do have Oppenheimer casting this week, and it's a big one. Gary Oldman is now in Oppenheimer.
Who he's playing? Who knows?
Who knows? Who knows who any of these people are playing? Because there's 30 A to B-list actors on the cast list at this point. So, I don't know. I thought we were done. I said that like 3 weeks ago.
Who's the president during World War II?
Truman? Ford/Truman?
Have Gary Oldman play one of them. That's my dream cast for this.
Gary Oldman as a president?
As a president. Maybe just not, maybe do it like they do in like other movies where the president's just a random person and not a real life person.
I mean, it's a biopic, so it surely has to be a real person.
But it would be funnier if it wasn't.
A made up president?
Maybe he just plays Gary Oldman in the movie.
Look, I'm not against it.
We never have much for these Oppenheimer castings.
No, because what else can you say? Like, this movie's coming out, and there's 40 people in it that aren't extras.
Right.
It's actual 40 named actors are in this. This is like the Avengers Endgame of Christopher Nolan films.
I love it. I can't wait to see this movie.
How come Tom Hardy didn't get a call?
Maybe he is the bomb.
He's going to be the cameo. He's going to be like the Brad Pitt cameo in Deadpool, but it's going to be Tom Hardy in this Oppenheimer movie.
Maybe I'm telling you, he's just going to play the same role he played in Dunkirk. This takes place in the same universe.
He finally made it back. He made it to America.
Yeah, he did.
He's like, you got to stop the Nazis.
Yeah, the Nolan-verse. What? Didn't we say that?
Yeah.
The Nolan-verse is all connected?
Yeah, it's going to end up being all connected, yeah.
Yeah, like Inception's just future tech used from what happened in Tenet. It just keep it rolling. Because of the advancements that Oppenheimer made, who Oppenheimer was named in Tenet. Oh boy. And there was a detective that was losing his mind in Memento. Oh no.
We're going all the way back to Memento.
That's a deep cut, Nolan.
Speaking of Oppenheimer, one of its stars, Robert Downey Jr., is executive producing two Sherlock Holmes properties for HBO Max.
Cool.
I didn't know we were still doing Robert Downey Jr. Sherlock Holmes stuff. Thought he put that to bed, but I guess not. I don't know. I think from what I read from a Variety article that it's going to be based on characters in the upcoming Sherlock Holmes 3.
Do you mean the
previous Sherlock Holmes 3? Was there a third one?
The ones with him, not the ones with Henry Cavill.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Sure. I don't know. HBO Max needs to fill its catalog. Robert Downey Jr. I mean, he always liked doing the Sherlock Holmes movie.
I really liked that first one. I
like the first one a lot. Yeah. The second one's okay. So we'll see what comes of that. I don't know what you could base it off of, because the Sherlock Holmes-averse is not exactly vast.
I think you just answered your own question. Just base it off of crime. Just have more crime.
But not have him in it?
Just have crime. And just have somebody solve that crime.
So Law and Order, but in the early...
Yeah, that's just what
like
Sherlock
the late
Holmes
1800s?
Is. That's all that Sherlock Holmes is. It's the blueprint.
Cast Christopher Maloney as the lead detective.
You know who I would love as Sherlock Holmes? John Mulaney would make a perfect Sherlock Holmes.
Side note, I saw John Mulaney a couple weeks ago. Hilarious.
Yeah.
Amazing. So good. I don't have a segue for this, but Bill Skarsgard has been cast in The Crow.
Yeah, taking over from Jason Momoa.
Was that ever official?
I don't know.
The Jason Momoa thing?
I have no idea.
But I like Bill Skarsgård.
Yeah,
he's good.
Yeah, he Pennywises it up.
Yeah, he could be a good creepy vigilante person.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Yeah, the Crow's a very like niche thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, it also comes with a very heavy kind of past with Brandon Lee obviously being the poster child for the Crow and how awful that went with his untimely death filming that. So hey, Bill Skarsgård is as good as anyone if they're going to try and get this property off the ground again. Like I said, it's a very niche thing, but in an age where adaptations are hot, do a Crow, do a Crow. And then the last bit of news we have an official release date for the Game of Thrones spin-off House of Dragon. It is coming out August 21st. So later this summer. It's going to be big,
Are we getting Lord of the Rings this year as well?
Yeah, that's soon, isn't it?
I believe so.
When is that?
All you fantasy fans are going to have a lot of good eats. If you mix Game of Thrones, I guess Harry Potter you can throw into that realm with Secrets of Dumbledore.
That comes out this week.
Yeah, it does.
September 2nd is Lord of the Rings. So actually 2 weeks after House of Dragon.
Oh, no.
So,
we're going to have a battle for the fantasy.
A battle that we never thought we'd have.
No.
Lord of the Rings versus Game of Thrones on Prime TV versus HBO.
I wonder who's going to win.
Probably HBO.
Right.
Look, Lord of the Rings is super popular, but look.
Game of Thrones had a stranglehold.
It's HBO, it's Game of Thrones, like that's their thing.
Yeah.
Like you think of HBO, you think of Game of Thrones, like
yeah.
Before Euphoria, there was Game of Thrones shutting down every single Sunday for the past 8-9 years.
Yeah.
So this is coming back. It's a prequel set thousands of years before the regular Game of Thrones verse. The two showrunners from Game of Thrones are not involved in this project. So for all my folks out there who are not thrilled with how Game of Thrones ended, it's not the same showrunners, different direction. If you did check out that trailer when it dropped before the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. So that dropped last year sometime?
I believe so.
Yeah. So if you chopped out that trailer, it still definitely feels like Game of Thrones, but just more magic-y stuff. Like, it's going to focus on the dragons and the Targaryens and all the stuff that people were like, I want to see more of that. Well, you're going to get more of that. Heaps of dragons. That's what they should have called it. Shouldn't have been called House of Dragons. It should have been called Heaps of Dragons.
Yeah, Heaps of Dragons.
Because that's what we're going to get.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm looking forward.
Dragons, heaps of bats. There's just a heaps of creatures.
Bats. Oh, man.
You just sounded like a goon from the Batman universe. Oh, crap, it's the bat.
Yeah, so, if you're concerned about the length of the last few weeks, don't be concerned about the length of this one, because I'm not sure how long we're going to talk about Morbius.
Yeah, but one thing I can assure you is we're going to have some fun.
Yeah, so how do you want to do this? Do you even want to do, like, the spoiler, non-spoiler bit? Because
I think it's funny because this is probably one of the easier ones where we could split the spoiler, non-spoiler. But for comedic purposes, I think we just need to mix this and just jump cut right to the...
I mean, we can save the spoiler, because the big spoiler bit is at the end.
Yeah.
Like the post-credit scene.
Yeah, there's no real big thing that happens that gets spoiled.
If you're like paying attention to the first like 20 minutes of this, you kind of know where it's going.
The entire movie, yeah.
But I do want to give you some numbers because that's my lane.
Yeah, it is. I get to talk about cameras and you get to talk about numbers.
Yeah, so this was a $75 million budget. So not like big blockbuster, typical that, not in the hundreds of millions of dollars.
And I gotta assume Jared Leto got 65 of the $75 million.
So opening weekend for domestic, 39.1 million, which isn't bad. But when you compare it to Venom and Venom 2, it's pretty bad. Venom 1 debuted at 80 million. Venom 2 debuted at 90 million. So this falls about half of that, which, I mean, is due in part to a couple things. One, Venom is far more popular than Morbius in an infinite amount of ways. B, the early reviews, man, crushed this movie.
Yeah.
Definitely, look, I told you this before we hopped on, like, I try my best to not get jaded by early reviews. I try not to pay attention to them for this exact reason, because I did get in the lane of seeing the early reviews for this, and they were so overwhelmingly negative that it just shaded my whole view of this entire movie. And then I left this movie, and I was like, okay, I have to sort through a few things. So, was this as bad as the reviews led me to believe it was? No?
Listen, so this is my whole perspective on this movie. I don't think anybody should go into this movie taking it seriously at all. And it kind of sucks to say, but seriously.
No, yeah, I agree with that. I think...
do not take this seriously one bit.
If you're going to think about this movie too much, if you're going to try to compare it to other superhero movies, if you're going to try and compare it to even other Spider-Man adjacent movies, you're going to get to that point where these early reviews got to. But if you just go into it just realizing what it is, it's still not good.
Right.
But it will allow you to enjoy the bits that are genuinely good.
Right.
One of which is the counterpart to Jared Leto, played by Doctor Who's Matt Smith, who is... I told you when we stepped out of the theater, I said he gets the award for the Venom I understood the assignment and what movie I'm in award, which was won by Tom Hardy in both Venom movies.
Yeah, Woody Harrelson held it for a bit.
Yeah.
But now it's Matt Smith.
Now Matt Smith has the championship belt.
Who's going to be the next one? Is it going to be Chameleon and Craven? Or is it going to be Gerard Butler and Craven?
It could be Aaron Taylor Johnson still.
I hope he just chews the scenery in that movie. I hope he just is the most ridiculous Craven you've seen.
Yeah, that's basically what this is. It's the actor in this movie who doesn't take it too seriously, who knows what type of movie he's in and plays his role. Yep. And that's what Matt Smith does in this. But going back to the reviews quick, so 16% critically on Rotten Tomatoes, 16 not 60, 16, 1-6, 8 times 2, 70% audience score, which I think kind of goes to what we're saying, is a lot of people are going into this realizing what it is. And look, like the aggregation, like the Rotten Tomatoes thing, especially from the audience side of it, is not necessarily whether people think it's good. Mm-hmm. It's just whether or not it like entertained them.
Right.
And I think there is some entertainment to be found in this movie, whether or not that's deliberate. Probably not, because we found some entertainment where there is definitely not supposed to be entertainment found. So let's just dive into this. So first of all, I guess we could say what is our familiarity with the Morbius character?
It's the 90s Amazing Spider-Man cartoon, easily.
Yeah. It's
Plasma Hand Morbius.
It's the same ethos that where people figure their love for Venom also is that 90s era. Morbius he's cut from that same cloth. Crazy backstory, crazy power set. And look, this has always been Sony's problem.
Right.
Is making movies about characters that don't have anything to do with Spider-Man. So they're like, dang, who was popular in the 90s?
Yeah.
Venom.
Yeah.
Craven.
And listen, I don't know if
Carnage.
I don't know if 90s comics were the place where you want to pull everything from, but I guess that's what they're stuck in.
Yeah. So lo and behold, after the critical and surprising success of Venom, they were like, all right, we're on a hot streak. It's like the gambler at the blackjack table who's won a couple of hands and now he thinks he's unbeatable. Yeah. So now he's playing every hand. That's what Sony's doing right now. The 4 most feared words, I think, in any superhero moviegoer is in association with Marvel.
Yep.
Because make no mistake, they did market this movie in the vein of Spider-Man No Way Home.
Yeah, even down to the shots in the trailers where it made sure, even down to Michael Keaton himself, which we're going to get into, but this movie was very much, it wasn't a cash grab, but it very much was like a in-moment grab of like, we need to get the attention of all the Spider-Man No Way Home hype and kind of get the train kind of in the ball rolling for it, and boy, did those reshoots kill that. Yeah.
So Jared Leto cast as the titular Morbius. Checkered history with this man.
You don't like him way more than I don't like him.
It's not that I hate him. It's just he just is, when he's in roles surprisingly like the role that he's in this movie, where he's just kind of Jared Leto.
Yeah.
And he can be like this like kind of flighty, like kind of like
despondent,
kinda,
you know,
when he's not like playing a character, which sounds weird, but you know what I'm trying to say. Like, look at the Joker, look at House of Gucci, where you're just like, whoa, Jared Leto.
He's a caricature in all those.
Yeah, like, dial it down. He dials it down in this. He's pretty tame for, you know, I enjoy him in Blade Runner 2049 a lot.
Oh, me too. It was Blade Runner, and then, I mean, his best performance is easily Dallas Buyers Club.
Yeah. So he does put out good stuff, and it's just when he goes over the edge when I'm all the way out. This wasn't that.
No.
He's not great in this.
No.
But
nobody's great in this.
Except for Matt Smith. But I also don't think it's his fault.
No.
It's the writing's fault.
And, oh boy, this writing it's not good. It's
From the jump.
From the jump.
We looked at each other.
What was it? It was the first line when they went to Costa Rica?
Yeah, it was the doctor line.
Yeah, it was.
When he's like, you look like you need a doctor. And there's a beat, and then Morbius goes, I am the doctor.
Yeah, and we looked at
each other like, oh boy.
Yeah, this is going to be a movie.
What are we in for? And then we flash back 25 years.
Yeah. To Greece?
In a home for crippled children.
In Greece?
Yep.
With a British man running it?
Yep.
I have so many questions. Listen, okay. Well, let's get into my thoughts real quick.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Here's how as soon as we cut back to Greece, and then I started looking at, like, so what keeps happening, there's a subtle zoom, and it feels like every shot, there's just this weird zoom. And then, you know, I had a nostalgia, just like the movie jumped back 25 years, I had a nostalgia trip back to my childhood. You know what I thought about? You know when you're homesick from school and your mom has soap operas on? This is exactly what this movie is. It's literally like me watching those overdramatic... And you know who encapsulates all of that? Tyrese Gibson encapsulates that whole thing. This movie is a comedy soap opera. And if you look at it this way... It's so funny. It's so good. I love it. That 70% is so much earned if you look at that movie this way. Like, there's literally, like, weird zooms like you would find in, like, a telenovela. Like, it's literally weird zooms, just over-dramatic music, over-dramatic acting. I love it.
It's also paced like a telenovela.
It is paced like a telenovela. Like, there's just moments where people are just looking off into places, or Morbius is just looking off, and just looking off into the distance.
Or he's like looking at a screen, or like looking at his case of bats.
Mm-hmm. He has a case of bats.
Yeah, like a cylinder of bats.
And guess what they did? They ripped off The Dark Knight. They ripped off Batman Begins. The music was the music from Batman Begins, and they didn't even try to hide it.
So the plot of this. So Michael Morbius is a poor, broken down boy who has a blood disorder?
Blood disease.
Yeah, it causes him to be severely crippled and requires a lot of maintenance to sustain his life. And he kind of makes a vow on his boily deathbed that he's gonna cure his illness, not just for himself, but for everyone like him,
including his friend
Milo.
Lucien,
aka Milo. Yeah. Because Jared Leto, Michael Morbius, calls every kid that he's ever roomed with Milo because they die so quickly.
Jeez.
So he's just like, yeah, you're Milo and Milo. It's kind of like Korg from Thor Ragnarok. Mm-hmm. With New Doug. Mm-hmm. It's the same concept.
Way to go, New Doug.
But he actually takes a liking to this Lucien, and they kind of struck a brotherhoodly bond, and he's like, one day I'm gonna figure this out, Lucien.
So this whole review is probably going to consist of me thinking of points where, like, I almost started laughing. So I guess this is the second one, is when young Matt Smith starts dying, essentially, because of his equipment. And then baby Morbius just cracks open the machine and fixes it, and then just gets called into the office and said, it took scientists so many years to get that right, and you fixed it with a pen? How would you like to go to a school for gifted youngsters that's not Xavier's Academy? And he's like, okay.
Yeah.
That was hilarious.
Then he leaves Lucien a little letter, and he's like, don't worry, I'm gonna cure us someday. It's gonna happen. They have like a mantra that they say that said, I don't know,
that's
5
the
or 6.
The few against the
few against the many. Yeah, because they see themselves as like the few, obviously, because they have these debilitating diseases and
the few, the proud, the Morbius.
the Morbiuses. who are bullied.
Yeah, they're physically bullied by kids. They're mocked for being crippled.
Look,
I'm telling you, this movie should have came out in 2004 where it belonged. This movie was missing one pop punk song from the early 2000s to really send it home.
Man, if we've only got an Evanescence song when Morbius is gliding through the night sky.
Either that or when he walked into the chamber with the bats. Perfect.
Yeah, so Morbius is gone. He leaves to go to America and then we flash forward again and he's won a Nobel Prize. Congratulations, Michael Morbius. You solved illnesses.
Mm-hmm. So basically what he did is he made artificial blood, which was more effective than penicillin at its peak.
Yep.
Good on you, Michael.
Yep, but he doesn't care for it. He's like, yeah, that's nice, but I don't want this.
Brings up the bigger question of which universe this takes place in, because I'm pretty sure Oscorp would have been like, hey, can we borrow that?
Yeah.
Can we please cure?
I also believe in the comics he accepts the Nobel Prize.
That seems accurate.
Yeah. So in this he's
Morbius comics.
In this he's singular minded. He only wants to cure his ailment. Mm-hmm. His ailment is what he's focused on, and he's getting close. Mm-hmm. He's working with bats. Go figure. Because this wouldn't be a Sony Marvel movie if cross-species genetics wasn't involved.
The lizard is just in the background like, I already did that.
So we're crossing species genetics again, but this time we're doing bats and humans instead of lizards and humans.
And eels and humans, I guess.
Yep, and whatever weird goblin disease that Dane DeHaan had.
Literally the goblin disease. This definitely is in the Amazing Spider-Man universe.
It has to be.
Is.
So Morbius is doing some shady things, some unethical things with his partner in crime. What's her name again? Marina? Yep. Yeah. His assistant? Not assistant. They're like co-doctors.
Future lovers. Spoiler
alert. But you could have, again, this movie's very predictable. Yeah. If you were listening to me in the first 5 minutes talk about the relationship between Morbius and Matt Smith, you pretty much know where this is going. Right. That Matt Smith is destined to become evil Morbius.
Yeah. It's Lady Morbius, Evil Morbius, and Morbius.
Yeah, so he cracks it. Mm-hmm. He cracks it. He cracks the cross-species genetics. He does literally what Kirk Connors does in Amazing Spider-Man 2 or Amazing Spider-Man 1 with the mouse, and the mouse dies, and he's like, crap.
Which is also, gets to my next comedy bit. So, you remember in the Amazing Spider-Man 1 where they had to test it a couple of times? He cracked it on the first try.
I don't think it was the first try, because doesn't he say, trial 117 or 117?
I think he said 243.
Yeah. So he's done this quite a bit, to be fair.
But it's just the fact that they were on the boat. That's the one that cracked it?
Well, that was after. He cracked the mouse, and then that girl that he was taking care of went into, shock. And then he had to put her in a coma. And then, the assistant, Marina looks across the hall. She has great vision, by the way. Because she sees that mouse from, across the hall get up, and she's like...
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. You know what I also thought about that? How dare you have your laboratory where you're conducting illegal experiments literally 3 feet away from your patient's room.
And you left the door
open.
When, he made a big deal about her coming in, being
Aren't they in a children's hospital? What is this place? What is Horizon Lab?
And, he made a big deal about her going into his lab, and he was like, you shouldn't be in here. How'd you know my password? This, that. And then he just left the door open.
Yeah. Anybody could have stumbled in there. Like Matt Smith.
Yeah. So Morbius is like, I cracked it. I figured it out. He goes to Matt Smith. He's like, hey, look, I did it. Mm-hmm. We're gonna be cured. Matt Smith's like, that's great news. Morbius is like, look, I need to go to a ship and do this, test on humans.
Basically, Matt Smith is ambiguously rich.
But nobody knows who he is.
Nobody knows who he is, but he's got money for days.
He can fund a whole ocean liner for Morbius to do experiments.
With random...
mercenaries.
Oh, and I'm going to get into one of the funniest parts about that whole thing.
So Morbius is on the ship, and he, of course, because it wouldn't be a movie like this if he didn't do the trial on himself. Mm-hmm. And he does, and doesn't go great. Mm-hmm. He becomes Batman.
He does become Batman. This is the best Batman movie that we've ever gotten. I'm using your logic against you from a couple weeks ago.
Oh, no.
This is the most bats, and this is a Batman movie.
Look, it was touch and go for the bats for a while, until the end. And I got all the bats I could handle.
It was every bat. Every bat in New York City came out in the movie. It was the same thing as in the Suicide Squad with Ratcatcher.
Yeah. It was the Avengers Endgame of bats. Mm-hmm. At the end.
When Bat looked at him, he said, on your left.
Dr. Morbius? Dr. Morbius, do you read me? On your left.
They should have played the Avengers theme. That would have been even better.
And all the bats come through the sewer. One bat comes through. And then all the other bats follow.
Jesus.
Alright, so...
That's right, man. You have these movies so much
So
funnier.
Morbius turns into a bat person, a vampire. And he just destroys all these mercenaries.
So basically, they're on the ship, right? And, it was one of the greatest parts, because what did it say? International waters?
Yeah.
So, the line before said, maybe we need to go to international waters. And then the title card said, international waters. And I was like, yeah, we know, but okay.
It was very Transformers.
It was Transformers. And you want to know what the funniest part about all this stuff was? You know where the international waters were?
Off the coast of Long Island.
Oh my god, I almost lost it. I said, wait a second.
So yeah, Morbius tears through all these mercenaries. He knocks his lady friend unconscious.
Which, horror, so bad. It was so bad it was good.
Yeah.
She stumbled and almost died.
It was like textbook, like you said, like soap opera,
yeah.
and she went down.
Yeah.
To be fair, good CGI on the vampire.
Oh yeah, not bad. Not bad.
It could have been way worse.
And his echolocation is also pretty solid.
I like the representation of his powers. I like the echolocation. I like the little ghostly floating flying thing that he does. Thought that was pretty neat. It was different. You know what I mean? Different than how we've seen that type of power portrayed.
Yeah, who's got the best sense? It's, I guess, Daredevil, Morbius, and Spider-Man, if you had to rank the three.
Like actual utility?
No, I just mean the effectiveness of it.
As far as on film or just in general?
Just in general.
Because Spider-Man can sense things when his spirit's not even in his body.
Yeah, but Daredevil has that, it's the slightest of tap he can pick it up.
But if you knock Daredevil out of his body,
yeah,
can he still sense?
Yeah, Punisher shot him in the head and he was out for a couple weeks.
Yeah. Spider-Man just dodged Doctor Strange while his spirit wasn't even in his body.
Good point.
He can also sense intentions. Remember that bit in No Way Home?
Oh, yeah.
When he knew the Green Goblin was going to turn evil?
Yeah.
So, I think Spider-Man might have him beat.
I'd say Spider-Man, Daredevil, Morbius.
Morbius is pretty good, though.
It is solid. It is pretty solid.
And he can summon bats.
Yeah, he can.
Which we'll get to later.
Yeah. I'm going to trademark this now that at the end of this movie, he turns into the Avatar and he's bat bending.
So Morbius jumps off the ship. He's like, oh my god, what have I done? I'm a monster, yada yada, I'm gone. And then Tyrese shows up with his partner. He's like, what happened on this ship?
So that whole telenovela thinking of this, the soap opera thinking, Tyrese Gibson embodies every single second of that. So he walks in and he has a toothpick in, because this is 2006, don't forget.
I think Matt Smith also uses a toothpick in this.
He does use a toothpick later. So, oh my god. So they walk in, they look at the crime, and it's the most cliche thing that you've ever seen. It's like good cop, bad cop, one's funny, one's serious, and Tyrese is it's so much overacting. It's every bit, understand them. You're talking about a movie with a guy that turns into a vampire. You can relax for a little bit. You can take it a little, you can, dial it down a little bit.
He's like, oh my god, all their blood's been drained out of their body.
He's just like, I haven't seen anything like this in San Francisco.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Looks at the camera.
Yeah. Jeez.
Yeah, so Morbius makes it back to America. He's like, I don't understand my powers.
They were always in America. They were off the coast of Long
Island. All right, fair point.
Why did they say international waters?
So he figures out a sort of kind of temporary thing. He uses his artificial blood that he won the Nobel Prize for, uses that to kind of stabilize himself.
Yeah, it's very on the nose for the morality of Morbius, so he's not a straight up villain. And
yeah.
It's the
Twilight thing.
Yeah, and it's also remember when they did the Twilight thing later in the movie?
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to it. But yeah, it's meant to keep him, a little bit more contained, a little bit of a nicer guy.
Yeah. So he's trying his hardest not to consume human blood, because that makes him infinitely stronger, but makes him infinitely more feral. And it lets him be regular longer, because his disease goes away while he's hopped up on blood. Mm-hmm. And as that effect wears off, his ailment returns. Right. And returns in twofold. Right. It's worse. And then so Matt Smith shows up and he's like, look at you, Michael Morbius, you fixed it.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, but it's the cliche thing, like, you don't want the cure. It's the Amazing Spider-Man 2 thing.
It's the Amazing Spider-Man 2. Hey man, you don't want this cure.
You don't want this cure. It'll make you a vampire. Matt
He said,
Smith's
what, is it going to kill me more?
He's like, well, it might.
Yeah.
And then Matt Smith's like, all right, well, fine. I'll see you later. Michael Morbius.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do anything unsurly, if that's what you're thinking.
Right. And guess what he does? Something unsurly.
Yeah, off screen.
Off screen. Takes a serious. He pulled the John Walker from Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah, so Morbius, quotes, kills a hospital worker.
In the horror scene in this movie?
Yeah. The clichéest of cliche horror scenes. Hello, is there anyone there? Lights are flickering, and then she's attacked by a vampire. Presumably Morbius, because he's established as the only vampire in this movie.
And also it's said that he can't control it at this point.
Yeah. And then, so he's arrested. He gets arrested by the police, by Tyrese Gibson.
Yeah. Yeah, that was crazy because they did a whole chase sequence, and Tyrese just holding the gun to his head, and I said, "Can you not just run away even farther?"
Yeah, they just got him. He just gives up.
Yeah, I was just like, you can dodge bullets. Why are you just standing here?
Yeah, he just gives up. He's arrested. Matt Smith visits him in prison and is like, "We're gonna get you out of here, Michael. Here's this bag of blood." I'm just gonna leave that there.
So I have 3 questions. 1, did they not check him for anything before he went into the jail cell? Do they need to? I'm pretty sure they need to check. So that's question number 1.
You could probably get away with sneaking a bag of blood in. Because even if you put it against your coat, they'd pat you down and you wouldn't even notice it.
So I guess here's question number 2. I don't know nothing about jail, but you're allowed to just walk into the jail cell with an inmate? Is that a thing?
If you claim you're his lawyer.
Oh, right. That's what he...
Because she says your attorney's here.
Oh, okay.
And then Matt Smith walks in.
Oh, they should have had Matt Murdock walk in. Michael Morbius, stop talking. Would have made for a much better movie. I guess question number 3: how did none of the guards notice that this man was crippled when he walked in and just...
That's probably the best question you've asked. Because yes, that is the dead giveaway, is that Matt Smith saunters out of Michael Morbius' cell without his cane, and Morbius does the Andrew Garfield from Amazing Spider-Man 1. He looks at the cane, then he's like, oh my god.
And then he throws... I'm telling you, this is so over-dramatic. He just throws the cane on the ground and starts screaming.
He's like, you didn't do it, Milo. He did.
Your brother, and you don't know that he was going to do this.
Yeah. So he breaks out of prison, and he's on the run.
Yeah, he is on the run. And okay, so presumably this is where the Keaton scene was going to be placed, probably right before this scene, the ones that we saw from the trailer. But...
Yeah, we're in the prison where they lock eyes, and they're like, hey, you're an actor, and I'm an actor, from another Spider-Man movie.
Just keep Michael Keaton in the back of your head.
Just keep that there.
Yeah, keep that there. We're going to get back to that.
What else is happening in this movie?
So, Matt Smith... All right, we can talk about Matt Smith going full Matt Smith. So
so good.
They have a fight scene.
Oh yeah, Morbius chases him down.
Which doesn't mean anything.
They confront each other on the street. And they're both just vampires.
Yep.
And people are just like, well, that's weird.
Yeah, it's just, okay. I guess that's New York for you. Just breaking the subway and they're okay.
Yeah, so they're having like the moral argument that is, I guess, the crux of this movie is like, do you cross that line to save your life or whatever? I guess. Morbius's answer is no. Matt Smith's answer is like, yeah, I'm a vampire, man.
Right, yeah.
Look how awesome I am.
Yeah, look at this. Look what I can do.
Look at us.
Yeah,
Who'd have thought?
Who'd have thought? Just 2 kids getting bullied in Greece. Yeah. Look at us.
Look at us. Now we're vampire men. And then, so there's a fight across New York into the subway. Matt Smith kills heaps of police officers.
Yeah. And dances while he does it. He's so good.
He's so good.
He's amazing.
He, like I said, he understood the assignment.
Yeah, he did.
He gets it.
Yeah, he does.
So he, classic.
He does like the horror movie Michael multiple times. That works every time.
Classic Act 2 hero versus villain encounter where the villain one-ups the hero. The hero narrowly escapes by the skin of his vampire teeth. He escapes.
Wait. So when they go to see Marina later, listen. Another laugh out loud moment when Rodriguez drops the paper and he goes, do those look like fang marks to you? And I'm like, there were no vampires previous to this. What do you mean, do those look like fang marks?
Oh, we missed the best bit. The holy water bit.
Right. So before this, he's in prison and he's like running. So basically, like Rob said, the blood he's taking, it starts becoming less and less effective. So
he reconciles with himself, basically, and is
Right.
like, at some point, I'm either going to have to kill myself or consume human blood.
Right.
And turn to that, to be that person that I don't want to be.
Right, so he times himself every time, and the time keeps getting shorter and shorter, so he's in jail, and obviously he's not going to get blood in jail. Plasma, or the blue blood, or the actual blood.
He even asks for it at one point.
He does ask for it, and the police officers, it's the most logical thing in the movie, they're like, no?
He's like, there was a bag, and they're like, yeah, we're not giving you that.
Like, no, it's an evidence.
And then he goes, you wouldn't like me when I'm hungry?
Oh, this movie.
But yeah, anyway, back to the bit.
Right, so Rodriguez walks in, and he just puts down some holy water, and Tyrese goes in the most dramatic, holy water? He's just like, what do you say, triple blessed?
Triple blessed?
Triple blessed.
He's like, I'm not taking any chances.
Stay blessed. Oh my god.
Good bit.
Good bit.
But yeah. So like we said, this whole bit with Tyrese and his partner does not have to be in this movie.
But I had a better thing that they can do, right? So if we're looking at this whole Sony verse as the bigger picture, right? All they need to do is have shorts, right? Those one shots. So basically, anything that happens, they always show up just a little too late at the crime scene. So let's say Spider-Man and Kingpin have a fight, and it's afterwards, they just show up, and Tyrese Gibson has a toothpick in his mouth, and he's just like, I've never seen carnage like this before, and Rodriguez is just like, there's some CCTV footage, we should go look at that. And just keep doing it. Like,
and then Woody Harrelson shows up?
Yeah.
Did somebody say carnage?
Nope. Yeah, that's the best place for them, because they do not need to be. They have there's literally not even a little thing they.
And this is what I meant when I said it up top. Can a movie that is so short subsequently be too long?
This movie was an hour 40. This movie could have been 50 minutes.
This is what I said to you when we were coming back to do this. Would this movie have been better had it been released on a streaming service and you could watch it in the comfort of your own home and had it been like an hour?
Yeah, and listen, then we brought up even a better point. So, this whole Sony thing that we're sitting in, would it not be better if we did shorts, like anthology shorts with all these characters to build out the bigger thing instead of just having these feature movies that you're not wasting money on, but I mean, wasting a little bit of money that you could have saved to get some other things off the ground.
Yeah.
Like Madam Web. I don't think we need a Madam Web movie.
Yeah, what's that going to be? 2 hours?
They
For
said
what?
it's going to be a Doctor Strange-esque movie.
I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that at all.
Unless Sydney Sweeney's playing like Spider-Gwen or something, or like Black Cat. Like, I don't know what this movie's gonna look like.
Yeah, I totally forgot about that movie too.
Craven's the same way. Like, Craven is probably gonna be a lot more akin to Morbius. Like, what does he have to do with anything?
Who's he gonna fight?
Exactly.
Evil Craven?
He's gonna fight the Chameleon.
Is he?
I think. I don't know, man.
He's gonna fight Evil Craven.
Evil Craven.
A Craven that lacks a moral compass.
Please let it be Gerard Butler. They're gonna do it.
Craven that doesn't have a moral compass, I guess, which is what this movie is.
So he's gonna go hunt, and he's just gonna be like, that animal's in danger. And he's just like, I'm still gonna kill it. And Craven's like, you can't. And somehow this man is a Spider-Man villain.
I won't let you do it. But so where were we with this? With Morbius? Matt Smith is killing heaps of people.
Right. He's at a nightclub, he's killing people.
Hey, he tried not to.
Yeah, but he can't. He can't help it.
He was very suave at that club.
Yeah, he was. Trying to hit on a guy's girl, and then he killed the guy for defending his girl. If you were confused, he's the villain. If you were confused at any point.
He's Evil Morbius.
He is Evil Morbius.
So yeah. And then again, like on cue, Tyrese and his partner roll up to the nightclub, and they're
How
like...
How smart is Morbius? Because you know what I just thought about that? Remember at the scene where he told them that we have to put this girl in a coma? Could none of them else in the room figured out that they needed to put her in a coma?
No, because he's Dr. Michael Morbius. He's the smartest man in the universe.
That's the only way I want to refer to him. They should have named the movie Dr. Michael Morbius. It would have been funny. Continue. I just had to get that thought.
So yeah, like you said, classic Tyrese and his partner fashion. They roll up to the nightclub like the next day. And they're like, these people have also been drained of blood. And then they look, there's a big sign that just says camera on it.
Jeez.
Cameras at this location. And Rodriguez is like, hey, CCTV cameras.
He just bangs on the door.
So they see the CCTV footage and they do the CSI zoom and enhance trope.
And it worked.
Zooms in on Matt, what is clearly not Jared Leto's face. It's clear. I'm glad that they cast these two actors in particular because they are so distinctly physically different from one another. So like Tyrese is like, well, that's not Dr. Michael Morbius at all. They're like, but who is this guy? Which again goes to your question, how is Matt Smith so ambiguously wealthy, but nobody knows who he is?
Exactly.
Because like they show him and they're like, who is this man?
Yeah.
And then he shows up on the news and they're like, this mysterious man is a vampire killer imposter.
Oh my god, this movie really is like a soap opera because Matt Smith has one defining character trait, and that's standing off in the distance and looking at his next target, and it's the funniest thing ever. There's I kid you not, 4 points in the movie where he's just, and then the scene just cuts to the next thing. It's not even the thing that he was meant to do. They don't pay it off until later. He just stands there and looks at people.
You're so right.
From like yards away.
So...
He didn't do anything with Maria the second time. Or the first time. The second time he did, but the first time he just looked at her and then he just left.
Yeah. I was waiting. I think it's the second time he does it when the subway's going by. I can't believe they didn't do it where the subway goes by and he's gone. Disappears? I can't believe they didn't do that.
They should have done it.
I was waiting for that shot. And they didn't do it. So, yeah. So the secret's out, sort of, that Matt Smith is like the real person doing these murders. And the police just stop looking for Morbius.
Yeah, his name is like defaced everywhere. But
even though they do know for sure that he killed all those people on that boat.
But they said it doesn't matter because they were mercenaries and they were bad people.
Good cops.
Remember that line that Fez had in Euphoria? He said, great job, officer. Really piecing this one together.
So Morbius and Evil Morbius's doctor visits Evil Morbius, and he's like, what are you doing, Matt Smith? Mm-hmm. Why are you being an Evil Morbius? And Matt Smith is because no one ever cared what I thought, or they always just looked at Michael as the golden child.
He has the best motivation, and it's just like, I just want to have some fun.
Yeah, I just want to be a super-powered vampire person.
Yeah, is that so much to ask for?
Yeah,
man.
Why am I the villain?
Yeah, leave me alone, man. This is just my nature.
How come every other person in comic books gets a superpower, and everyone's so super supportive?
Right.
I get a superpower, and I'm the villain.
Right.
Because I might have murdered a couple thugs at a bar.
Yeah.
And a nurse. And like 6 cops.
He is the villain.
But I'm the bad guy. Okay. Then he attacks his doctor person. Yeah. His Dr. surrogate dad.
Dr. Dad. I don't know what that character's name is, but we're going to call him Dr. Dad.
Yeah. Dad Morbius.
Dad Morbius.
So he attacks the dad.
Is he just the same character as... What's that character from Blade? His helper? Oh,
yeah.
Is that the same guy? Not that I don't...
Yeah, not the same actor, yeah. Right. It's similar thing.
Yeah, right.
So he's, he does the old... He's like... in between this, Matt Smith visits Morbius's girlfriend. They're girlfriend and boyfriend at this point. Because Morbius...
She's really a ride or die, because I don't know who in their right... That he is... You watched him kill 8 people, and still you were like, oh, I love this guy.
Yeah, I'm in. Yeah, he's like, can you go to my lab and get me some things?
It's because he makes horrible dad jokes throughout the movie.
You talk about the coffee bit?
Yeah, listen, fellas. If you guys want to win over a girl, you don't have to be fit. You don't got to do none of that. Rock the dad bod and get some dad jokes off. It works. Ask Dr. Michael Morbius.
Coffee? I quit caffeine. She's like, it's decaf. And then he's like, tricked you. What was that, by the way?
Is that like a vampire thing? I don't know.
Was it silver? Is that what it was?
Because the spoon?
Yeah.
Who knows?
And he was like, I'm not that kind of...
Yeah, he said, I'm not that kind of vampire.
I'm just messing with you.
Yeah, I'm not Blade.
This is not a good thing to be joking about, Dr. Michael Morbius. No. Too soon.
Yeah, they're on a time crunch, too. Like, this is like Matt Smith's still murdering people and they're just chilling.
Yeah, like, too soon. And so then he...
Oh, my God. Hold up. Whoa. So, remember the scene... Okay. Oh, man. So, the scene where the 2 dudes pull up to the what's it called? They pulled up to the
cafe.
To the cafe, and they started giving the waitress the
counterfeit
hundreds for real hundreds. Which,
in the scope of like movie thug behavior, is not high on the movie thug behavior.
That's where I was like, why do you care? I don't understand. Because he wanted the lab.
Yeah, he wanted the lab,
which is ridiculous because how have the cops not raided this lab? It's not like they were, particularly hiding. Oh, God.
So, yeah, Morbius acquires this facility, which honestly is pretty inconsequential to the plot.
It is. What did he just cooked up the anti-serum.
The anti-serum. But he probably...
I've been working on this anti-serum for years now.
He probably could have just done that at his regular lab.
Yeah, because there's no guards at the regular lab.
No, because 2 whole people break in there. Matt Smith breaks in there, and Morbius' girlfriend breaks in there.
Lady Morbius.
Well, we didn't get there yet.
Oh, crap, sorry.
So Matt Smith visits her while she's breaking into Morbius' lab, and he's like, look.
It's the cliche villain confronts the love interest.
Yeah. He's like, have you seen Dr. Michael Morbius? And she's like, nope. And then he does the Daredevil thing.
Yep, he's checking her
heartbeat. And she's like, would I lie to you, Matt Smith? And he's like, yeah, probably, because we don't know each other?
Yeah, but they seem like they know each other. But do they know each other? Because that's his best friend and his presumably girlfriend.
But also nobody knows who he is?
Who is that guy? He is Doctor Who in every universe.
So he's like, look, all right, fair enough. You don't know where he is. Goodbye. Have your whatever you're doing in his lab when you don't know where he is.
That lab is 3 feet away from people.
The bats are still in there.
The bats are still... Where's the police? Did the police...
There was police tape on the doors.
Did they not confiscate anything?
How are you going to confiscate bats?
I don't know.
So...
What was the beginning of that movie?
When he's in Costa Rica?
And he cuts his hand?
Yeah. To summon the bats?
What tech is that?
I don't know.
Exactly.
It's never explained.
It's ridiculous.
It's never referred to.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So Morbius, we're getting ready for the big showdown. Morbius versus evil Morbius. And he's like, I got the anti-serum. And then she does, but who's the second vial for? Man, you know who the second vial is for.
There's only 2 vampires in the universe. What do you mean, who's the second one for? It's for Venom. Oh yeah, it's for Venom. No, it's for me. God.
And then Morbius has his, like, you know, his dad calls him. And he's like, Morbius, I've been wounded by evil Morbius.
So the cliche, the father figure is about to die and gives you your you know...
With great power comes great responsibility. Exactly. Except he doesn't do that. He's just like, you have to stop him. And then he dies.
Yeah, he's just like, what do you think I've been trying to do this whole time?
He's like, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thanks, Dad. Thanks, Dr. Dad.
And then Matt Smith calls him on his echolocation, I guess.
So Bat FaceTime?
Bat FaceTime. He's like, can you hear me? Can you hear me, Michael? He's like, yeah, I can hear you. He's like, well, can you hear your girlfriend pleading for her life? And he's like, actually, no, I can't hear that. Can you tell her to speak up a bit?
And you guys might think that's a joke. That's literally exactly what happens.
So she's like, Michael, help. And then he cuts her throat, or ambiguously wounds her.
I think so.
And then he does his Michael Morbius.
It's like the hero. It's basically like the leap of faith from Into the Spider. He does his hero jump. He's got the purple from the comics in his jacket because comic books.
That's all it is, Michael. It's a leap of faith.
What's up, danger?
When he leaps across the sky, he flies in.
A much better Sony property is Into the Spider-Verse.
And he's too late. He's too late.
Mm-hmm.
His girlfriend is dying, and he's like, I'm sorry I dragged you into this. You know, I'm a bad vampire.
And she's just like, no.
No, you're the best vampire, Michael. And then she bites his lip.
Yeah, I don't even know how to explain that part.
And then, like, for a second, I didn't think it was going to go where it went, and then it went there, which she was like, you know, you have to do, and then he feeds on her to get, like...
energy.
To get his real strength.
Right.
Yeah. Then we have a big fight.
Yep. Big CGI third act fight.
Which is no good.
Until,
correct. Until the Avengers Endgame of Bats.
Yeah.
Dr. Morbius on your left.
All the bats show up.
Yeah, so Matt Smith's got Morbius dead to rights. He's clearly the superior vampire. And then Morbius does the Dracula Untold thing, summons every bat in New York.
And then he starts bat bending.
Yeah, just throwing haymakers with bats. He doesn't do the Dracula Untold bat fist, which I was a little disappointed.
He said 0 out of 10, no bat fist.
He didn't do the fist of bats, but he did get off some good bat combos. It
literally looked like Avatar: The Last Airbender, but with bats.
Yeah, he was just like swirling the bats and like swinging them at Matt Smith, and then bang, serums him in the chest.
Yeah, it's the cliche stake through the heart, serum through the heart thing.
And he was like, "You would do this to me, Michael Morbius?
My brother?
Your best friend? Your brother?" And Morbius is like, yeah. Yeah, I would.
Yeah, you killed heaps of people. You killed loads of people. Of course I would do it to you, man.
You remember how I said I would do the second dose for myself? I lied.
Yeah, I lied. Aha.
Because I kind of like being a vampire, and I think I can kind of control this.
Maybe I can team up with some people.
And then Tyrese and his partner show up.
Again.
And they're like, freeze, Michael Morbius. We know you're down in that weird hole somewhere.
And then the bats come out.
The bats come out and Morbius is flying with the bats. And then the movie ends.
And then, the movie just ends. Before the movie ends, Marina turns into Lady Morbius.
Yeah, she opens her eyes. She does the Elektra thing. She opens her eyes. Her eyes are red, and you're like, oh, man. Sequel bait.
Sequel we're never getting.
Sequel bait. And then the movie just ends. Yep. It's just over.
They missed the perfect opportunity for an Evanescence song.
There's not even like a hero shot of Morbius like at the end of the movie.
I mean, there kind of was when he was flying for a second.
But then you get the weird zoom in on his eyes.
And then it's over.
And then the movie ends.
And then like 5 seconds later, so the end of No Way... Okay, so...
Alright, yeah. So here we go. This is the spoiler bit.
This is basically...
Even though we did the whole movie, this is the real spoiler bit.
This is basically what Venom 2 did. I told you, as much as Venom 2 was like a stupid fun romp, like the whole movie did not need to happen. There's nothing in that movie that mattered to anything.
Except for that joke.
Except for the joke. Not you, father. You, father. So, basically, Spider-Man No Way Home... Avengers No Way Home happened.
Yeah, the crack in the sky is there, and you're like, what is this? What is this? This movie happened already.
I saw multiple points at the screen from different people in the theater.
We don't need to be baited into seeing Spider-Man No Way Home again. Yeah. We saw it already. It happened. And then, so there's a cut to a prison cell, and then fucking Michael Keaton shows up.
Right.
And he's like...
Maybe I'm the monster.
He does the vision thing. He's like, whoa.
Maybe I'm in the wrong universe.
Maybe I am Michael Keaton.
I love how the more and more that Michael Keaton ages, like in his roles, he just turns more and more just to Michael Keaton.
Yeah, so he's like, what is happening? Mm-hmm. And then consequently...
the news broadcast is so good.
But it's also accurate.
It is accurate.
Because the news broadcast is literally some man just appeared in a prison cell.
Man appears in prison cell. Official stunned.
Claims to be Adrian Toomes. And then they just let him out.
And then the scene ends. The scene just ended.
Yeah, they just let him out. They let him out of prison. And that was the end.
And then it just cuts to the next bit of credits. And I was like, hold on.
And then there's a second post-credit scene, which is just the same setup from the first Venom post-credit scene of the protagonist driving in a car,
right,
to an undisclosed location. So it's Morbius.
We need to start videoing these because the amount of times I put my hand in my head.
So it's Morbius, and he's driving a Porsche.
Yeah,
and he's like, and he just stops like in the middle of nowhere.
No, he had it set on his GPS to go.
Yeah,
to
to go to the middle of nowhere.
What about this stupid flying and echolocation? But you needed the Porsche,
right? Fair point.
It looks like he can control his Morbius now.
Well, he's got the clock running. His wristwatch is running, and it's at like 3 hours or something. So he's like, I got some time.
I hope they fix that. They gotta fix this.
What?
This stupid clock that keeps running.
It's the equalizer. It's the equalizer thing. So but he uses his echolocation.
Yeah.
Because he senses the vulture coming.
Yeah.
Then the vulture rocks up in full vulture getup.
Okay.
Where'd he get the suit?
He's not in his universe, and he made that suit out of Chitauri tech. So how did he get that suit?
Where'd he get the suit? Where'd he get it? It's the same suit from from Homecoming. It's the same suit. Where'd he get the suit?
So the police had no tabs on Adrian. This man appeared out of nowhere, and
they let him out. They let him out of prison. They were like, "Sorry, you just appeared."
Do they not have surveillance in these cells?
Sorry, they know he just appeared out of nowhere. So they're like, "Sorry, you appeared in this prison cell, sir. We'll let you out, I guess." You shouldn't be here.
The only thing that makes sense if he got that vulture tech from
Oscorp.
Yeah.
When did he have time to do that?
And how did he break into Oscorp?
Yeah.
I'm so confused.
Yeah. Did he go to the Sinister Six basement from Spider-Man 2 when he was like, "Give me that." Mm-hmm. That
he
right
said,
there.
"Sure you don't want this nice rhino one?" Nope, I want that one.
No, I want that one with the wings.
What about the Doc Ock? Nope.
Nope.
Not liking it.
So he rocks up in his full vulture costume somehow. We'll just ignore that bit. And he's like, hello, Michael Morbius. And he's like, hello, person I've never seen before.
But they act like they know each other.
And he's like...
How did he know to meet him there?
The literal line of dialogue is from Keaton is, I don't know how I got here, but I think it might have something to do with Spider-Man. That's verbatim. Maybe it's not verbatim,
No, that's
but it's
exactly
close.
what he said. He said, I know it's got something to do with Spider-Man. How do you know that?
And then Morbius is like, okay, and Keaton's like, well, you know, you got superpowers and I have a metal vulture costume. We should team up and do some... Did he say do some good?
Yeah, do some good, yeah.
Do some good, and Morbius goes...
You get some guys and do some good.
Yeah, we need to get a team... I think he says we need to get a team together. That's what he says. Wink. Something of a
team up or something.
Something of a 6. Something with a 6.
And they're probably evil. Probably a little sinister.
The serendipitous 6.
Yep.
Maybe that could be it. Morbius is like, all right, I could see myself in another one of these.
He's like, interesting.
I could see myself in another one of these movies down the line. Sure.
Why on earth would he team up with Vulture? Like, why?
First of all, they don't know anything about each other at all.
I thought Vulture was like not a bad guy anymore.
But neither is Morbius.
I don't understand.
What are they doing? What is their goal?
To take down Spider-Man.
Is it?
But Morbius has no beef with Spider-Man.
Right.
How
did he get there?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So the Spider-Man No Way Home, it's a one-way street, right? They all come over to that one universe. And then Venom goes, but Venom goes back.
But the symbiote stays because the symbiote can span across the multiverse.
Right. So the symbiote stays. Fair. Most of the symbiote stays. It's part of it. Keaton goes the other way.
Right.
How?
I don't know, man. I don't know, man. Oh, God.
And then that's it. That's how it ends.
What an experience that was.
It was certainly an experience.
I was dreading this movie all day. I've been sick the last couple... Every time a movie with bats comes out, I get sick. I was sick for the Batman review. I was sick for this one. I
thought it was just going to be bad and I was going to hate it, but I just found myself laughing, and there's so many crazy parts of it that I'm just like, all right.
It was ludicrous.
It was worth the $6 on discount day.
Thank God. Yeah, we waited till the discount day, and I had 50 cents off because I'm a movie member, and now it was $5.50, and I said I'll see Morbius for $5.50.
It's worth $5.50.
I think so.
It's not worth the $13.50 XD price.
Oh, absolutely not.
But it's worth a $5.50.
Yeah, that's a $5.50.
Yeah, and like we said at the top, don't go into it taking it too seriously. Because, I don't know if you could tell, we didn't take this movie too seriously.
No, we didn't.
I don't think we said, a good thing about it, technically.
I think we said the VFX of his powers.
We're okay?
Yeah, we're decent.
And Matt Smith was good.
But in an ironic way.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Anyway, so what is this? What is the future of this?
Yeah, we have to look at the big picture. I mean, I guess the simple big picture is they're trying to get this Andrew Garfield versus... But
is Andrew Garfield coming off of No Way Home getting himself mixed up in whatever this is?
Yeah, because it's the only way I see that working is instead of making these villains but it's weird, instead of making these villains themselves, they're evolved selves from their solo projects, if you make them more kind of figures that are supposed to go against Spider-Man, so if you do Amazing Spider-Man 3, it feels like a nostalgic, not a nostalgic trip, but a celebration of the character, like a great sequence of him defeating all these characters would probably be kind of cool. But I don't know narratively if this works. This is the issue. This was the thing that we said from Venom 1 Inception when it was announced. The why, why are we doing this?
And at the time, the only thing that made sense was Venom coming to the MCU.
Right.
And then that didn't happen. And presumably isn't going to happen.
Right.
The MCU is likely going to do their own take on Venom. Mm-hmm. But the Tom Hardy Venom is specifically now for this universe.
And then I thought about this because I keep thinking to myself, why haven't we gotten this Thor trailer yet? It keeps getting because the movie's still seemingly going to come out on June 8th, and it just kept getting no trailer, I think this is the shortest time between a movie and a trailer that we've ever seen from the MCU, and that's saying something because of Spider-Man No Way Home. I think Doctor Strange is going to have something to do with all this whole multiverse bending stuff. I think this might be the kind of the crux of all this thing, because if the rumor is true that Tobey Maguire's in Doctor Strange 2, then it could make sense that the multiverse is so skewed now that people are going just different places at different times.
Yeah.
It's the only saving grace I have for this, because that was just incredibly crazy post-credit scene to throw in a movie.
Yeah, that didn't need to be there.
Just absolutely not. Why didn't they just save the Lady Venom, or the Lady Venom?
The Lady Morbius?
The Lady Morbius scene for that. They could have just done that.
Yeah, self-contained. Make it self-contained. Mm-hmm. Because we're not going to get any resolution for this. Not in any foreseeable future.
No, I don't think this movie's gonna.
Not unless this is like a sitcom situation where these characters keep stacking to post credit scenes. So like we get to the Kraven post credit scene, and Vulture and Morbius pop up in the Kraven post credit scene together, and they're like, "Hey, man, we're putting together a team."
You're basically Steve Irwin. I guess we're putting together a team.
You're on the team. You're in. He's a vampire. I'm a vulture in a bird costume. You're a guy with a machete. Mm-hmm. Let's go.
Yeah, let's do this thing.
So my idea, what I said to you before, was instead of just Spider-Man doing the Sinister Six, it would be Andrew Garfield, Spider-Man, and Tom Hardy, Eddie Brock against the Sinister Six.
Maybe Black Cat.
Yeah.
Maybe. I think Felicity Jones would come back.
Ooh.
If you sold her on the fact that Andrew Garfield's like the hottest actor in the world right now, she would be convinced.
And then, yeah, so you would do that. Because, not for nothing. Look, I love Andrew Garfield, Spider-Man, but he would get pulped by this crew.
Oh my gosh. He would probably
he would get beat by Morbius alone, probably.
He would definitely have issues with Morbius.
So you're throwing 5 other guys on top of that.
Is he faster than the Flash? He was moving.
I mean, he can vanish, pretty much. He can materialize.
Mm-hmm. What a film!
What a film!
Whatever Al Pacino said in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. What a picture!
I'm glad it's over, though.
Remember? Did you see on Twitter that Tyrese Gibson thought that Martin Scorsese was actually at the Morbius premiere?
Yeah. Oh, Tyrese.
He took his overacting off screen.
He did not have to be in this movie.
Rodriguez, let's keep Rodriguez because he's ironically hilarious.
But yeah, it was just like I said. This movie could have been an hour. Could have been an hour.
Maybe.
Yeah, because there was a whole lot of this that didn't need to be in it.
I just love those bits when Matt Smith's just standing there.
He's great. I can't say enough good things about Matt Smith.
Just looking at people, and it doesn't go anywhere. It's so good.
I can't believe they didn't do the subway thing, the train thing. It's a trick.
This movie was missing Evanescence. It was missing early 2000s pop punk, and it was missing train vanishes. Yeah.
They did it in Spider-Man 3 with James Franco.
They did do it in Spider-Man 3, and he didn't even have any super speed. Yeah,
man. Matt Smith. Train goes by, he's there. Train goes by again, he's gone. Sets up the menace.
Yeah.
You never know where he is or where he's going to be.
Cast Matt Smith and everything.
He just pops up in places in this movie?
Yeah, he does. This movie is edited so poorly. Do we need to address the director controversy that's been going on?
Sure, we can touch on that real quick.
So, the director of this movie apparently didn't make this full movie, according to what he's been saying.
Also, just spoiled bits.
Yeah, he just spoiled the whole ending of this movie. Because why not?
Yeah. Apparently had no hand in the editing of Spider-Man into the original trailer.
Right, the picture of Spider-Man that was taken from promo images from the first Spider-Man movie with Tobey.
Sony greenlit the Michael Keaton post-credit scene.
The reshoots happened?
I just don't think he cares enough to be mad about it.
This is very Josh Trank if Josh Trank also didn't care. Because I think Josh Trank actually cared.
It's definitely not a David Ayer situation.
No, David Ayers, you're not getting the haircut.
Doesn't matter. I don't care how many unreleased scenes and freaking concept art.
Just say you didn't make a great movie.
Yeah.
Didn't David Ayer direct Bright too?
Did he?
I think he did.
That explains a lot.
Yeah. Oh. Who was good in Bright? Joel Egerton. Joel Egerton's usually good in pretty much everything he does. He's gonna be an Obi-Wan.
He is. He's back.
Yeah, he's back.
He's reprising his role as Uncle Owen.
Yeah. This is a Joel Egerton stan pod.
And a Matt Smith stan podcast?
Yeah,
now?
he's the new Andrew Garfield for right
Whoa.
Nobody can ever take it.
Not one of the pillars. You can't replace one of the pillars of the podcast.
What are our pillars?
Not the patron saint of the podcast.
Our pillars are Dune, Oppenheimer, and Andrew Garfield. And Fast and Furious.
Yeah. Don't forget Fast and Furious.
Yeah.
Fast 10 is coming.
Yeah, it is. And Jason Momoa is gonna be the other brother.
And Danielle Melchior is in this one.
Yeah, and she's gonna. I'm telling you, have her be Letty's sister. Just do the same thing that you did with John Cena in this one, just from Letty's perspective.
I told you that's how you got to do it.
Mm-hmm.
At a racetrack across the street from from where Dom's dad died. Letty's dad also died.
And then her sister was taken from her. Movies, man.
Gotta love them.
They can be so cool, and then they can be utterly ridiculous.
Then they can be Morbius.
And then they can be Morbius.
Yeah, so that's it for us.
Yeah.
For Morbius.
Yeah.
Did you watch anything other than Morbius?
What have I watched? Oh, so I guess we can talk Moon Knight for a second. Some non-spoiler Moon Knight, because episode 1, so some initial thoughts.
Good. Oscar Isaac is real good. Ethan Hawke looks like he's going to be a very intriguing villain.
Right. It's just it's just the broken nature of Oscar Isaac. I never thought he would do something like, especially after X-Men. I didn't think he was going to touch any comic book property, especially after Star Wars as well.
Yeah.
Nothing. I thought he was like going to stay far away, but something probably sold him on this whole property. And I think the 6-episode event, it's funny, I watched the finale of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, like the 6-episode format it's working. It really is working. It's like nice shots that can, like, you know, flesh out a little bit more, but still keep that kind of movie-esque quality to it as well.
I love the stagnated nature of that first episode as well. Like, you know, I've seen a couple complaints online about, like, you don't see the action sequences. That's the point. That's the point. In that first episode, we are in the same kind of level playing field as Stephen Grant.
Yep.
So we're the same. Him and us are the same. We don't know what's happening. He doesn't know what's happening. That's by design, I suspect. But the second episode, he's going to have like that sit down, quote unquote, with Mark Spector, and the things are going to unfold.
Yeah.
Things will be explained to him.
Yeah, and I've been hearing because I guess press have been able to see the first 4 episodes. I've been hearing that episode 4 is like Loki episode 6, and the fact that it's like mind-bending, like it's just going to like undo everything you've ever thought.
I don't know. I don't want to get caught up in that because it happened with
Morbius.
It happened with Morbius, but also happened with WandaVision, and it happened with Falcon and the Winter Soldier, where they were both shows were like, look forward to this episode. It's crazy. And then that episode happens and you're like, wasn't really that crazy.
So I guess jumping the gun a little bit, just looking at the next couple weeks. Guess what we're going to talk about in the next couple weeks?
We're going to talk about WandaVision.
We're going to review the first. The show where Reed Richards was supposed to show up.
Because we didn't have a podcast yet when WandaVision came out.
Al Pacino was supposed to show up. Guys, what did Aaron Rodgers say? RELAX. Relax.
Yeah, so we're kind of in a similar vein to Spider-Man No Way Home and like our lead up to that. We're going to take a similar tact with Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness. So was it not next week we're doing WandaVision, right?
No.
Week after?
So this is Rob's idea. We're going to have a little bit of fun. We're going to do the casting what-ifs.
Yeah. So in the vein of Multiverse of Madness, where presumably former actors are going to return, I thought it would
see variants on some characters.
So I thought it would be a cool idea to just kind of go back and forth, kind of in the vein of our earlier episodes where we kind of go back and forth and just alternate some casting what-ifs for superhero movies. You know, things that were rumored to happen that never did, people that turned down roles, people that auditioned for roles that didn't get them and were given to other people, especially with one person in particular that may or may not be appearing in Doctor Strange, as a character who was supposed to be the first person in the beginning of the MCU, the alternate Iron Man. And then we will review WandaVision, and then the following week, before Doctor Strange, we will be chronicling Doctor Strange's journey in the MCU, because Multiverse of Madness is a direct correlation, not just to Doctor Strange 1, but everything. Doctor Strange's entire journey to the end, through the MCU at this point.
Look at the live action, and then What If is probably going to play a big part in that as well. And then Moon Knight just snuck its head right in there in between. Yeah. Really threw everything off.
Yeah, it did. Because that's going to be our season review of Moon Knight also.
And then the big boy.
Yeah.
This movie's probably going to be just nuts. Just absolutely bonkers.
2 hours and 6 minutes, which is shorter than I thought it was going to be.
I don't know how true that is. Because people are saying that's not true, but we'll see. Even if it is 2.6.
You're telling me this movie's only 20 minutes longer than Morbius?
It's gonna be a lot of Tyrese Gibson. I'm telling you, put Tyrese Gibson in Doctor Strange.
Put Matt Smith in Doctor Strange too.
Yeah. Have him be a variant have him be the good Morbius in this universe. And have Jared Leto be the evil Morbius.
You said a great thing earlier about Jared Leto being the Flash and Matt Smith being Reverse Flash. I want those two opposites of each other for like the rest of eternity.
Yeah. They just, you know what I would love if they recreate the scene from Revenge of the Sith? The ending? You were my brother, Michael. I loved you. I hate that.
Oh, man.
We're so speechless. We got so much to say, but are so speechless.
Well, I don't have anything else to say. I'm done. I'm over it.
Don't call me the Tyrese Gibson of the podcast. I'll walk out. I felt it coming, and I simply won't allow it.
Yeah. While I think of something to bestow upon you, I'm gonna plug some stuff. So you can follow the podcast at ProjectINF_pod. You can follow us on Facebook, like us from there. New episodes are posted weekly, or sometimes we do an occasional bonus one, like we did with the Batman. Don't know.
Who knows?
Who knows?
Maybe a Thor trailer will equate for some more bonus content.
Maybe. We'll see what happens. So yeah, you can listen to us on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, wherever it is that you listen to podcasts. You can find us there. Just look us up, Project Infinite Podcast. It's pretty easy to find, pretty easy to say.
If you could spell, it's pretty easy.
Yeah. You can follow us on Instagram
at the Project Infinite Pod.
Thank you. And next week, casting What-ifs. Also been playing that Lego Star Wars game.
I've been hearing a lot of ruckus about this game.
It's so fun. I cleared the Phantom Menace earlier today.
Nice. They
have a pod racing bit.
This is pod racing.
He says that when you do the Naboo space mission.
You know what I would have loved if in this movie, when Morbius started flying for the first time, if he was just this is pod racing.
But yeah, it's fun. It's dumb fun. It's a good little. The combat is actually surprisingly fun. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to playing through that because there's some fun bits. Darth Maul, they do the Darth Maul intro when he does the double-bladed lightsaber,
nice.
And Obi-Wan does his lightsaber, and then he looks at the bottom of his because he doesn't have a second blade.
Listen, those Lego games usually have some of the best comedy bits you can ask for.
There's some. I only got through the Phantom Menace, but there's some good stuff. Nice. So I'm looking forward to doing. It's every film, 1 through 9, does the main bits from each film. So looking forward to getting through the rest of the movies and retroactively enjoying some Star Wars. And then who knows what DLC will bring? Might be some.
Why? In the scene when they confronted each other for the first, when they confronted each other,
we're back to Court's post episode rant.
This is my new bit at the very very end. Before you cut me off, I have to rant about something. Why the acting? Listen. What are we doing? The line delivery right after when they confront each other was so clunky and just so bad. I loved every second of it, but why? Why? You're a vampire too. Just be a vampire. This isn't this. There's a guy that is an alien from space that is black. You're fine. Just be a vampire, man.
Just be a vampire.
Yeah, just be a vampire. No, Morbius had no motivation in this movie outside of just be a vampire.
Yeah, he cured his illness.
Yeah. You did the thing.
Yeah, you did it.
Yeah.
You did it in Act 1.
You didn't have a Spider-Man to be hey, maybe you shouldn't do that. You could have just done it.
Yeah. Why couldn't he drink animal blood?
You're asking a lot of great questions.
Maybe someone will know that's smarter than I, but more versed in the Morbius-averse.
Yeah, maybe human blood has something that animal blood does not have.
But you can drink artificial blood.
But you can't drink animal blood.
But you can't drink animal blood.
So I've been watching Atlanta, and there's a great bit about humans and animals because Keith Stanford's character, he goes to a gun range and he's shooting a dog, and then people pull up and they're just how dare you shoot a dog? And then he looks at them and is just aren't you guys shooting human targets? He's just they're yeah, but you can't shoot a dog. It's just bad. Now I think about that. That's maybe why he didn't kill the animals.
I mean,
and this is all ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's crazy. It's crazy. We're talking about a guy that turns into a vampire and that flies, and then finds the vulture in a different universe because of a kid that needed to get into college. and called upon a wizard.
That is a crazy way to put it.
Just wait till we get to Doctor Strange.
I hope Morbius rocks up in Doctor Strange.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine.
This all started because a playboy billionaire philanthropist just had to make more weapons.
Dr. Stephen Strange, Dr. Michael Morbius. Man, our parents love alliteration.
Peter Parker's just like, hey.
Hold on a second. Pepper Potts is like, hello.
He said, hey, hi. Bruce Banner's also there. Jessica Jones is just across the way.
And then Matt Murdock rocks up.
Jesus.
Jessica Jones, stop talking. I'm your attorney again.
They should have had Matt in this movie.
That would have been hilarious.
That's what I need him just to do. He just never plays Daredevil again. He just is Matt Murdock in cameo appearances for the rest of his
As people's attorneys?
As people's attorneys. Michael Morbius, stop talking. I'm Matt Murdock. Hey, we have the same alliteration in our names. That's cute.
He's like, are you... They both hear each other coming.
Hey, you wouldn't have to be the Daredevil, are you?
Wait, are you blind or... No, I'm a vampire.
I'm a vampire.
Oh.
Ah, nice.
Morbius and Daredevil will get along.
That would be a cool team up for a little bit. They punch each other for a bit and then they're mates.
And then until Daredevil gets on his high horse about Morbius eating people.
Yeah. They just do the same scene from Daredevil season 2.
What do you do? What do you do?
What do you do? You eat. He said, what do you do? What do you do? You beat criminals. I suck their blood out of their bodies and they stay dead.
And I get stronger.
I get stronger. He said, I think these men... It's just him looking at the mercenaries from the boat. I think these men deserve to die. I think they deserve to be put down. We need to stop. We need to get out of here.
Yeah, we do. We've talked enough about Morbius.
Yeah, we have. But yet not enough.
Never enough. I have a feeling this is going to be a movie that we will be referencing for the very near future.
I would not be surprised if this also gets added to the pillar. We need a whiteboard of all the pillars of this thing, and Morbius has just been added to that list.
Who knew?
Who knew?
Who knew before we saw Morbius that we would come out of it feeling this way?
That 70% audience score, it keeps getting more relevant and relevant.
It's just those bad reviews, man. Had me expecting something just, like, unwatchable. This is very watchable.
If you look at it ironically.
Yep. Perfectly said. From the Matt Smith of the podcast.
I'll take it. Do I really have that type of villain energy?
Probably.
I love that bit where he's just dancing in his apartment and just is transforming back and forth and just having a grand old time. It feels like Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Like, I love it.
But with vampires. Look.
We didn't even talk about the whole Twilight sequence where Marina cuts her hand and Morbius is just like, oh my god.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
man, there was a segment there where I thought he was going to do something to that cat.
Yep.
And I was going to be like, you crossed the line, Michael Morbius.
You crossed the line.
All right, we got to get out of here.
We do.
Next week, we're going to talk about some casting. Maybe there'll be some Morbius casting.
Maybe there'll be some Oppenheimer casting.
Ooh, we can only hope.
We can only hope.
All right, guys, we'll see you next week.